Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the Voice of Reason. So, the title of this episode is The Breakup of Ethiopia. So, first, let's have a look at Ethiopia to kind of get an idea of the size of the nation, just in terms of geography and people living inside of that nation state. So first off, it has a population of about 110 million people. So to give you an idea just how large of a population that is, the United States, if we took the states and all the people that lived in California, Texas, and Florida, that still would not equal the population of Ethiopia. I believe the only other nation on the continent that has a larger population than Ethiopia is Nigeria, followed by, I believe, Egypt, which just has about 100 million people as well. But Ethiopia has about 10 million more than Egypt, unless there's been major population changes inside of Egypt. So what is going to happen with Ethiopia? You have three large ethnic groups residing inside of Ethiopia. You have the Amhara in this area, and then the Oromo, kind of central, both western and eastern, and they make up a sizable ethnic makeup as well. And then finally, Tigray, with about 7 million people living in this region. There appears to have been a fracture in this society that I don't believe could be repaired. When you look at the fracture that has occurred between Amhara and Tigray, I reasonably do not believe for the foreseeable future that fracture can be mended. And you're also seeing a fracture between Oromo in some cases and Amhara. So you have these three distinct ethnic groups that are having major issues with each other. And then you have other ethnic groups as well that I haven't named, but there are obviously many. And it is a situation that is degrading day by day, especially with the travesty that is occurring inside of Tigray. So the likelihood that Ethiopia as a state will be able to repair itself by destroying one of the peoples inside of it, I just don't think the outlook looks good. You have Eritrea, which has an ethnic makeup similar to Tigray as well. They share a language and a history. And the question is what happens to Eritrea, especially when Afwerki passes along, either by coup d'etat, natural causes, or leaves. What is going to happen to Eritrea? You have many generals, many powerful generals inside of Eritrea that I think will be vying for the role to lead that country. And Eritrea could fragment. Afwerki does have children, And could those children be designated as the next leaders of that country? Could Eritrea, as it resembles North Korea in terms of a despotic regime, could Afwerki have his children lined up to take the reins of power after he leaves? But if Eritrea isn't stable, then that will also pass on to Ethiopia as well, that instability. Simply because of the amount of weapons that exist inside Eritrea, the amount of trained soldiery inside of Eritrea. Much of the population has been trained in the military arts, so to speak. All of its population at one point attends military training. So what does Ethiopia look like 10 years from now? Will it even be Ethiopia? Will it be a loose confederation of states, Amhara, parts of Oromia, broken up, disjointed? Because it appears that's where it's heading. You tend to have a fairly strong centralized government based inside Addis Ababa, which almost at times seems to resemble a city-state. And then these other power bases of these other ethnic groups based around the rest of the country. So what happens? What does it look like? But the path it's on now, I think in the short term, we will probably see, if the military situation does not change drastically, it would appear that Eritrea is definitely going to occupy the northern parts of Tigray. And then what happens? Does the state of Ethiopia then recognize Eritrea as the owner of northern Tigray? Would that be accepted? Would it then ever be possible for the rest of Eritrea to live peacefully with the Tigray population? And just by viewing comments on this channel, it is very polarized. You are either on one side of the equation or you are on another. And there doesn't seem to be any middle ground with the, especially the Amhara-Tigray divide. There is a significant, major dysfunction between these two peoples. And it is very apparent from just reading the comments on this channel to hearing other news outlets. And I don't think there's going to be the ability to repair it, especially with what's now occurring inside of Tigray.